on to the LEC, where G2 and Caps are at match point over Vitality and Perkz. Vitality now facing elimination if they not manage to win the next game. So as we are on match point, let's go over a couple of things that we thought we were going to see and how they actually turned out. I want to start with the top lane. Trouble. So much went into it, right? Is Alphari going to come out ahead? Are both teams going to put in as much? But for now, or especially in game 2, it's been BB.
I mean, absolutely. We mentioned it at the start as well, right? Top lane matchup is going to be extremely pivotal. And we also had the discussion about which side do you want to pick. And usually, if you want to play for that top lane matchup, you want red side. You want that counter, but you want to make sure you're ahead of your opponent. And I think BrokenBlade sort of gunked them all down.
Yeah, we sort of saw it continue, like, from the solo kill initially to then the gank converting into yet another kill, and then Selfmade here trying to protect the turret farm. I don't really know. BrokenBlade got such a massive advantage. He was up, it says gold at 14 was 1.5K. I think at 15, it was up to 3K. It was a ridiculous lead for him.
And we can't look at it in isolation, of course, because it's also the way the teams play around it. And where we in the first game, it felt like we saw a lot of attention and efficient diving towards with Labrov and Selfmade. This time around, it was a completely different story.
Absolutely. To return the favor, right? They're calling Jankos towards the top side of the map. They're getting BrokenBlade ahead in a matchup that is already favorable to the Sjokz. And at some point, we started discussing, like, sure, the Camille can actually start grouping at some point. You can try to dive into the backline and get these team fights. The Sjokz will take 2 towers while you're doing this. And G2 were at a pretty good position to soak a lot of pressure like Caps did in the mid lane.
Yeah, and I think we sort of saw that expand, right? He got out of those turrets, and then we get into a situation where Vitality, their base is being knocked on, right? And G2 ended up going for this push where they blast down the inhibitor turret, and this is so smart from Vitality, is the fact that they don't kill Herald here. Now, you might be wondering, like, why? You're losing your inhibitor. That has to be a bad thing. But it's 16 minutes into the game, before there's objectives like Baron to pressure or a soul point to pressure, losing your inhibitor means that you actually have a free avenue of income. Alphari was getting dominated in top lane, so having a lane open up that either he or, I don't know, your Aphelios can go and free farm for 3-4 minutes is so good for trying to get yourself back into a game.
And also, if you think about on the other side of the map, right, that lane is going to be perma-pushing. That means that you cannot have anyone from the side of G2 on that lane. Somebody has to double up on a lane, which means they're sharing experience, they're sharing gold, and this is why one team can catch up and the other one will slightly fall behind because they have to share.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's like when you're the team that takes the inhibitor, and obviously G2 didn't intend to take it. They just had a Herald there, and Vitality made a smart call.
They backed up and they were like, whoops.
Yeah, they back up and it's like, unlucky, I guess. It's important that they convert and they make it worth, right? So them taking dragons, them forcing the issue and trying to engage fights, and eventually trying to bait out the Baron was really key for them to try and leap ahead in the game.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because it's a double-edged sword, right? Because on the one side, it's, okay, Vitality, we can take this XP, we can get some gold, but G2 is also like, as long as we pressure the map, they're always going to have to worry about that inhibitor and about the push that can come from there. But you did see that Vitality crawled back into this game. They were willing to take fights. But as we take a look at this next fight, G2, in the end, made the right decisions when it came to the engagements. And I think you particularly wanted to highlight BrokenBlade's play here, Andrew.
Yes, this is really good, because again, Vitality win the fight at the start. It's a good engage. They're able to kite out the initial dive in from the Rakan pretty nicely, and then chase down, because this Aphelios is starting to shred. Got a lot of gold farming off that inhibitor, so it's G2 all of a sudden on the run, even after getting that early game advantage. But importantly, BrokenBlade is able to separate himself from the pack and get a reset. He has TP to re-enter this fight, and for him, it's mostly about trying to get back and buy time, because they want to keep the tempo up. They want to fight at this dragon, so when he comes back, all of a sudden, it's go time. Now, there's still a zillion ult, and I think Alphari does a great job of trying to interrupt that stun from hitting, because if stun hits, it is lights out for Vitality. Still, though, even after they get yet another kill, G2 are able to reset the fight.
And I think BrokenBlade is very crucial to mention here that he has a Frozen Heart in his inventory. He's extremely tanky. We were debating whether G2 should run forward or run backwards. I was like, run forward. This Sjokz is so tanky. And because you have Flakked, who was undying up to this point, and he can dish out so much damage, it doesn't matter if you have the Zillion, because the rockets are going to hit multiple people. You can ult one, someone else will die, Jinx will get excited, Sjokz stays alive because he has 2 tanky items items on him, and he's an absolute monster with Counter-Strike as well. So it was a really great play to stall until the rest of the two spawned again and came back into the fight.
And G2 won the game off that play practically, right? I want to pull up the picks and bans as it is match point, and now we see that the red side picks up a win. I believe it's only the second one in the entirety of playoffs here so far, but we've talked already about it. With top being so important, do you feel that maybe they're going to choose it more now going forward?
I think there's a possibility. I think in this match in particular, like Trobleinc got really out of hand, out of like an unfortunate circumstance walking into
Vitality
the
stay blue.
And they stay blue, kind of to be expected here. But yes, getting counterpicked for Trobleinc has been pretty crucial. So I think that's something where maybe taking a safer matchup, because casters both time called. They said Camille's going to come in against the Narn. They said Jax was going to come in versus the Camille. So being a little bit more aware of that and finding picks that are a little bit less volatile.
I just want to ask production, Vitality stay blue. They got to choose, right? Or was it? Okay, they did get to choose and they're staying on blue, so they're not valuing that as highly. The graphic was also incorrect. We'll see what happens in the picks and bans in just a second. Indeed, I do want to kind of set the stakes in terms of what is happening here today. We came into the day talking about Caps and Perkz, and I want to say also for other members on these teams, a Carzzy who left the championship team in Mad Lions to join this roster. There's a lot up in the air here, and some players that face elimination who it'll be a very, very hard pill to swallow if it does happen. It really is all on the line in Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Vitality super team, for better or for worse, now faces elimination, and G2, after completely restructuring this lineup, like threw out everything and tried to reconfigure themselves, like only one can move on. And that is really, really punishing for two teams that had really high aspirations coming into the year.
We just also have to commend the two remaining pillars of G2, because I feel like Jankos and Caps have been doing a fantastic job as well. And it might show the fact that they're playing towards the top side of the map. And Caps went 0-3. He soaked so much pressure without losing anything. And this shows how much of a veteran he is in the scene. Flakked stepping up, not dying at all. Targamas roaming the entire map. I think finally people are seeing the team they wanted from G2.
I think that's a really great point. If they are able to close it out rather here, we'll see though. But before we get into picks and bans for Game 3, Quickshot is joined on the sideline by Ocelote.
That's right, Sjokz. I am joined by Ocelote in studio for the first time in years. Carlos, we go way back. It is such a pleasure to see you here. I can imagine it must be a pleasure for you to watch your team playing. Now, I think it's fair to say expectations for Vitality and G2 before the season could not be further apart. How surprised are you with where we are right now, with G2 being 2-0 up?
Well, after having the two strongest years of, I think, any Western team in 19 and 20, it's crazy that last year we didn't qualify for Worlds, and this year we go for rookies and quote-unquote unproven names. So the reason we did it is because we wanted to build something that, with humility and work, and just being here was neither expected nor unexpected. We just started the season and we wanted to build ourselves up, and I think we're in a pretty good position now. Of course, we're 2-0, but who knows, right?
Carlos, I can see the smile under there. And
I'm smiling.
I watched you and the crew jumping for joy. So, is this going to be a clean 3-0?
I mean, it would be a good change after all the 0-3s in my life.
What message do you want the fans at home to hear you say to Perkz right now?
And he's helped to build G2's legacy, and is sweet and sour to beat him. I know it's not the answer that many people want to hear from me, but I have it in my heart, and despite everything that's happened, obviously, and I hope we win, but I definitely don't feel great about kicking him out, you know?
I'll tell you now, this is an earnest and honest response. Carlos and Luca are both performers. They perform for me. They perform for you at home. And this is the real Carlos speaking. Dude, thank you so much. Best of luck for the following games. Let's head to the casters. Take us into Game 3.
Thank you very much, Quickshot and Carlos, of course. Great to hear from you backstage. We are here for what could be the final game of the day, to the surprise of many, I think. I saw lots of people predicting G2 would win, but a 3-0, I didn't really see anywhere.
Yeah, my expectations were that Vitality would come in strong into this series, but so far we've seen promising things from them, but G2 has just gotten the better of them so far this series, and let's see if that changes here in Game 3. We're about to jump into draft, so you all know what that means.
Well, it means that Vitality once again are on the blue side. They have side selection, and they have elected to be on blue. Lucian banned away by them once more. I wonder if we'll see the usual slew of bans here. Twisted Fate, LeBlanc we saw banned out, possibly a Jinx ban, depending on how these teams are feeling.
Yeah, the thing is, you have to discuss with, obviously, the team after the game. I mean, Vitality was the thought, what was working, what wasn't working, what do we want to first pick, what don't we want to first pick. If this is a Karma ban, no, it's a Hecarim ban. So they don't actually have any faith in Hecarim. They think, well, we'll just ban it instead of playing it ourselves, and that's the way we'll deny it. We'll leave the Karma open because they might not pick it with the Hecarim itself. Olaf ban coming in now from G2, maybe reading with the Hecarim ban. They probably want to look for an Olaf early rotation here, so we'll take that out of the equation just to make sure Selfmade doesn't get his hands on it. And now it's all things up in the air here for the first pick of Vitality. With that Olaf ban and Hecarim ban, it's a Volibear first pick, so the series is evolving.
Yeah, it certainly is. And, you know, we talk about this every time we cast Caedrel, but in a best of 5, evolution happens. It's part of the intricacies in what makes this series so interesting as well. The Volibear priority suggests that Selfmade wants a little bit more agency. On the Hecarim, he wasn't able to find a lot of successful ganks. In the early 2v2s, he was going to fall short, especially against things like Jax Volibear, Silas Volibear. They're all very dangerous. So he wants now the ability to impact those lanes to be able to get Vitality further ahead in the early game.
I feel like Jankos is comfortable running back something like the Viego. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it worked in game 1. The resets were great. Good teamfight comp. They can run something similar back. The Jinx already spells something like that. Rakan is another champ that comes to my mind. As you can see, Vitality's clear plan. We're playing top side. Insta-lock Jayce on the early rotation.
And alongside that, the Aphelios. I will draw attention back to the fact that this Ahri was locked in blind for G2. Now, it did have a good performance by Perkz against Caps in the last game, but not a champion that we are seeing blind too often, at least here in Europe.
Yeah, very, very popular in the LCK and the LPL. Lots of counters coming in. Now, G2 have an option. Do we pick top lane here and match the Jayce, something like Camille that has actually got kill pressure onto it? Do we look for a tank later on in the draft on 4-5, something like Gragas or Malphite? Or do we pick something like, well, I think that was our answer.
Okay.
Confidence from Vitality, smiles and laughs the second they lock in Jayce, and Cool, Calm and Collected G2 instantly respond with an Irelia.
Oh, this is typically, again, a favored matchup for the Irelia. Early levels could be a little bit of a struggle, but very similar to what we saw last game. BrokenBlade, once he reaches a certain point, he will have massive kill threats. This does mean that Vitality can now limit the jungle options. G2 now going to respond by limiting that support pool, likely going for the Rakan once more.
And credit to BrokenBlade. This series, he has had Alphari's number. Game 1, he got a little help from his jungle, but he was still ahead in the laning phase. Game 2, 3-0 on the Jax at like the 15-minute mark. BrokenBlade is having a very strong series when perhaps, you know, a player like Caps isn't quite stepping up to that same potential.
I think game 1, to be fair, Caps was really good.
Game 2, more like it was the BrokenBlade show alongside FLICKR.
For sure. So let's have a look now. What will the focus be? They could remove the Nautilus, limit a little bit more of the utility. They're going to ban the Silas away. Like,
okay.
I've never really known Silas to be like a counter pick to
scrims,
Ahri.
baby. EU
Yeah,
scrims.
this is definitely something like a, I don't know, Caps or someone on the team is like, no, we can't have this matchup. It's not okay.
Interesting. They've banned away the Trundle. You know what opens up here when you have an Irelia top? Something like Sejuani. Jankos is a connoisseur in that. I think he's going to go for Viego or Xin Zhao. It makes the most sense. What I thought G2 would do here is with Viego banned instead of Trundle, they'd last pick jungle for some kind of aftershock engaged support and pick support blind here, something like Rakan. But now with Trundle banned, do you just pick Viego and counter support? That would be the most obvious, makes the most sense to do. We'll see what they opt into. But a lot of jungle bans, I think Jankos won't have an issue finding a jungler.
I think you want to look for a little bit of engage from your support if you do go for this Viego. Of course, the Ahri can find picks. Irelia can do the same. Viego has that stun, but really you need someone who has a little bit more CC, something like the Leona, something like the Nautilus. And Vitality now looking to answer with a support Renata. We have seen banned out every game so far. A very strong possibility, and you want to take it away from that Viego, because the reset possibility with a Viego Renata is deadly.
Very, very true. Of course, can't stop that reset coming through with the revive.
I'm going to say it. I think it's coming. There you go, for Perkz. That's
yeah, but I'm much more excited by the
Akali.
Akali.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So a lot of skill expression champs here on the Rift. We've got Akali, Jayce, we've got Irelia, Ahri. Very explosive lanes, I will say, on top lane. Mid lane, a little bit quiet till 6, you have to expect. Now, what does Targamas counter the Renata with? Because the Renata will do fantastic into Irelia Viego when they dive on top of her champions, her team, pop the ultimate, and then look to turn. Now, what does Targamas have an answer? Is it just going to be a Rakan? Jinx Rakan, it's worked the last 2 games, but then again, you're going too much engage. Or are you going to go for a Lulu, play a little bit more disengaged, a little bit more range? So both these teams with very, very interesting answers to what they're throwing at each other.
I I still think I prefer G2's comp though. Like, you have that insurance of the Jinx Lulu in the late game. You've got a stronger side laner in the form of the Irelia, and you have a hyper-mobile mid that can... I will say that Akali, Ahri, very skill-intensive matchup, but the problem for Akali is that you have 2 dashes, Ahri has 3. And you have to play very well as the Akali in order to find kills in a side lane against the Ahri, otherwise she's just going to keep you pretty much at arm's length throughout the entirety of any sort of exchange. So I feel like G2 just have so many options and answers for what Vitality have drafted. A lot of responsibility is going to fall on Selfmade to try and get these lanes ahead so that they can actually have presence and impact on a side.
And on Alphari. I think if Alphari's going to show up in any game, it has to be this one. Confidence early rotating the Jayce, knowing the BrokenBlade's going to counterpick. He's the one who needs resources in this team to carry with this draft.
Once more into the breach we go. G2 2-0 up over Vitality, the team that many lauded at the start of the season as the team to watch here in the LEC, sitting on the precipice of being eliminated from playoffs and ending in 5th and 6th spot. It is a, well, 5th spot is a long road back for Vitality. It's a road we have seen Perkz and other players on this team walk many times before. But G2 today look like the superior team. Vitality have to pull something miraculous out of the hat if they're going to fight back. And it all starts now.
I was going to talk about something, and then I realized that they're doing a level 1 fight. So I'm not going to talk about that thing.
Well, we'll see as they try and clear out this vision. No sweep up available for Vitality, no level 1 play coming out. Vedi, you have the option to talk if you so desire. For the moment, perhaps wants to continue remaining silent. Tense, I feel, is the mood amongst the camp so far this game. And with Renata working its way through the draft and the answer of the Lulu, I'm very excited to see how these two supports balance out on the bottom side of the map. But our eyes, once again, Caedrel, so many times since 2016 we have said we got to look at the mid lane. It's Perkz, it's Caps, the two most decorated mid laners in the LEC, in the history of our league. 8 titles on one side, 6 titles on the other. And when they teamed up, they ushered in the best era, the grandest era of European League of Legends. Now we see them on opposite sides of the rift once more.
Definitely, and I feel like both these players have mirrored each other, right? You have game 1 where Perkz as LeBlanc really couldn't find any impact. Game 2, Caps as Sylas hasn't really found any impact. Now you've got, again, 2 skill expression mid laners in Ahri and Akali up against each other. Caps should have early push. Vitality bot and G2 bot obviously trading very heavily in this range matchup. But yeah, I think eyes on Caps and Perkz and how they operate these team fights, of course. Perkz will be diving in against the Lulu and things like this that he needs to kind of navigate around. Caps playing with his team more so, wants to roam, use this early prio, maybe help BrokenBlade get ahead. So top side is going to be the focus for both these teams.
A lot of tension building as we are here in Game 3. I also want to remind people that this roster from Vitality was built to be that super team. I love super teams in Europe, right?
They always do so well.
How many successful ones have we had, right? And especially when people saw Perkz on the roster in particular, they thought this one will be different, you know, because it's Perkz. Perkz just finds success. You know, I remember his first split over in NA. There was a lot of criticism thrown towards his like laning phase. Like Perkz, is he really even like the best mid in Europe right now? Is he like someone that you can really count on? And then finals come around. And then what, his Zoe performance, backed against the wall, able to turn it around. Like, that's the classic Perkz, right? That's what he does. And now their backs are against the wall again. He's picking Akali. Many international European fans, when you think of, like, Akali players, you think of, well, Caps. You think of Humanoids. You think of maybe even Viego now, right? But this is not the champion that this man is known for. And he's really putting it all on the line on a very high skill expression champion against his brother-in-arms, his former teammate. So the storylines write themselves, you know? Will it? And then, you know, the funny thing is it's just like, it's building for that meme of Perkz where he's just like, I was backed against a wall. all or nothing. I locked in Akali. And did you win, Dad? No, 0-3. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So we'll have to wait and see as a gank is hovering around.
I thought you were going to do the Michael Jordan, and I took that personally after going down 0-2, but caught me off guard there a bit. But Selfmade does show in mid lane there. Caps gets full information. Very low mana, trying to blow these early waves in, make sure he can get the push, look for early bases, keep up the CS lead. Has 2 pots left as well. Perkz has none. The reason our eyes are on mid so much right now is because Caps has 2 options. 1, keep Perkz on a tower and poke him out, get CS leads, or 2, look to move around the map with this push. Look for dives top, maybe look for early plays bot, but for now, very quiet.
Observers, could you just very quickly click on Caps photos? I've noticed that he's spamming his W a lot, and I was curious if he decided to put another point in it early just for that extra harass tool. No, he's decided to prioritize upgrading Q. This is very conventional, but sometimes you will see Ahris just take that extra point in W if they want to be extra aggressive in terms of trading in the laning phase. But Caps instead is focused on getting that push, making sure he has that priority, and being able to rotate should his jungler demand.
And something we've seen over the last 2 games is leveraging mid as much as possible. We saw it in game 1, we saw it in game 2, Labrov moving there, Targamas, we're seeing it again here. Both jungle supports just want to make sure they're around mid, because if either of these laners can get the push, it helps the matchup out so much, whether they get a free base, they can save TP, they can move around the map, look for invades. Here we go again, G2. Walking into Vitality jungle.
Look at where Carzzy is, though. He's already reset and he's coming across here. If the fight had begun, he would have been here first. Instead, smites go out. G2 retreat away from that jungle. Charm goes down in mid lane. Electrocute doing a little bit of work as well. Perkz diving back forward for a bit of trade damage himself, but will just be forced away.
Just noticed he's running the Electrocute instead of Conqueror. Gives you a little bit of extra burst. I dash quite like that against Ahri, especially with how mobile she is. Finding those like drawn out extended multiple Q procs is going to be a little bit harder compared to just Alt, Q, E, trying to kill. Will make the 1v1 against Irelia harder though, if he finds himself on a side lane in that 1v1. But as we kind of expected, Alphari doing reasonably well in terms of the early levels. It's once BrokenBlade gets level 6, does his first base, that's when this Jayce matchup gets a little bit scarier.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to hold the wave here a bit. Will let it crash in the end. Has TP, of course, so he can dictate if he wants to base here. TP back, save it once again. And of course, this matchup really swings not so much in Irelia's favor, but kill pressure is on the cards for Irelia when she hits level 6. If she can land stun, land ult, she's going to pretty much tear through the Jayce. So Alphari has to be very careful, make sure he has vision, because if you fall behind this matchup, it's really hard to recover. Jankos not prioritizing top so much, still back towards mid. Perkz use the E, has level 6.
Charm hits a minion, so Caps and Jankos will just back away from that play. BrokenBlade did burn teleport earlier on to get into the lane. Alphari saw the wave wasn't quite to his liking, so he TP's back in now. Has the Tear and the longsword already complete on that Jayce, and now has ticked over to level 6. Charm hits.
Great timing.
Targamas here in the mid lane. Selfmade into the spot to get the stun. Spirit Rush away from the Shuriken.
You can see what they're going for there. I think that'll be the end of the fight unless Labrov can find some kind of re-engage. But in the communication from Selfmade, Perkz there is, I'll land the stun, you land the E. We can follow this Ahri through. Caps use the ult and it misses. So flash use from Selfmade. Perkz though.
A bit of extra damage. Perfect execution used once. Shuriken hits.
Oh,
Charm. They exhaust immediately though, and he'll use the perfect execution to dodge away.
That charm patience there from Caps was very good. I was surprised that Perkz held on to his ultimate. When Selfmade commit to flash stun, being greedy and then trying to land the E first is just too dangerous, too risky. If he'd just done the R into animation cancel E, he could have guaranteed that additional damage lands, and then he likely could have gotten himself a kill, but perhaps he was worried about the Lulu presence. Either way, they don't find themselves that pick. Perkz doesn't lose his flash, Caps does. So an overall fairly reasonable exchange.
Yeah, Labrov again, mid, Targamas hovering mid, exhaust used. They're going to get a dragon for this. The early mid pressure from Vitality, putting numbers there, having bot push. So first neutral objective in their favor. If you remember what happened last game, G2 did dragon, ran top, got a kill on the dive that Vitality was looking for on a cross map, and took Herald. So bit of a better early game here for Vitality. Alphari playing very safe in this top matchup, giving a lot of breathing room to BrokenBlade, making sure he respects the Irelia level 7. All in from the ultimate.
Ooh, and they're actually setting up a nice little freeze here in the bot lane, forcing Flakked and Targamas to overextend. You can see that there is that one control ward in the river bush for G2, so they have an element of safety, and they also have Jankos hovering around the bot side of the map. So there is that element of safety, but still a very dangerous position for that bot lane to find themselves in. You can see the CS advantage now starting to build for Carzzy as a result.
One thing I want to mention is just the Irelia pick, bringing it back to draft again. Good confidence from G2. They know they're 2-0 up. They have a lot of room to work with in this series, and they're happy to just run an Irelia into Jayce matchup, which can be so explosive. Very quiet so far, but junglers find each other.
Control ward going down there from Jankos, spotted out Selfmade. Selfmade will be able to chase Jankos away from the river, and that gets himself a control ward if he desires. Instead, actually just pass toward the mid lane here.
Do you reckon he forgot it was there?
No, I'm pretty sure he knows it's there. I wonder if they're trying to give it over to Labrov as he comes up, but Maybe he did forget. Memory of a goldfish.
Didn't get it in the end. Bot push for Vitality.
Ooh, nice bit of poke there.
As I brought up draft before about BrokenBlade, what I will say again is just Vitality. This looks like comfort picks for everyone on Vitality.
Yeah.
Alphari's Jayce, Selfmade's Volibear, Carzzy's Aphelios, Labrov's pretty happy on the Renata. I think that's what they resorted to, Vedius. Just going comfort in game 3 when you're kind of against match point, elimination match.
BrokenBlade dashing forward here. Vanguard's Edge coming out as well. Alphari with the knockback. Selfmade slowed up by that Vanguard's Edge, but the chase is on, and BrokenBlade, can you dash around the minions well enough to escape? Selfmade tries to do it. Flash, double dash. BrokenBlade dashing back in. He's looking for Jankos. Flawless duet. Gets the stun onto one, but the Stormbreaker comes out. BrokenBlade still surviving. In the end, Selfmade will bring down his Maw and take the kill. Jankos has to heartbreak you underneath this tower.
And Vitality are able to respond to the early aggression from BrokenBlade. A lot of responsibility fell on Selfmade's shoulders, but have a look at this.
Targamas not in a good position here, rooted up, pulled back, and that's the kill. Carzzy takes it. 2 quick ones for Vitality. Looking for 3 as Jankos is stunned up. Selfmade takes another, and Flakked had to burn the cleanse to escape in the bottom lane.
Hello, Vitality! The beast is awoken. Bot lane is in such a fantastic spot right now. Yes, top side's winning out, but look at the plates, look at the CS difference. 2v2 kill for Vitality. Top side's winning. Vitality's alive in this early game.
Look at how quickly the gold has ballooned as well. 2 plates in bot, 1 plate in top. Let's follow
Just
the
gonna cancel his recall, I think.
Oh,
Tempo.
yes it is. That's annoying, as any AD carry or any player will have known. Having your base interrupted, smart play from Flakked to commit his ultimate to interrupt there. But the gold difference already for Vitality, the aggression that we saw from them, and this is the difference. Remember, we saw the Hecarim band away, the first pick Volibear. Something we talk about all the time, Caedrel, is the evolution of the drafts in a series. This Volibear gives you so much early game agency, and Selfmade is using it.
Yeah, and I think Targamas not being on the Rakan is going to come back to bite them a little bit in the mid game because they don't have that much playmaking. Jinx, Lulu, you've got the Viego, Ahri, and Irelia, which is your top side that you want to play for, but they're already behind. Early force of the Heralds coming in. Everyone is arrived apart from Flakked. This could turn into a 5v4 in favor of Vitality.
Carzzy already has Gale Force here as well. Jankos has to flash out of the back of the pit. Selfmade now focuses down that Rift Herald. G2 started it, but Vitality will take it very happily.
Yeah, I think BrokenBlade had top push, and they thought they had a window of tempo to get this before Carzzy arrives. They will get some bot plates, and they will lose out on some creeps Vitality in the bot lane, but Herald in their pocket.
Okay, wow. So Vitality, you can see the gold. They have advantage top thanks to the plate. Obviously, Selfmade has 2 kills, so that's where his advantage is coming from. A little bit behind in mid because of the farm, but then the plates secured for Carzzy in bot lane have given him a very comfortable lead as well. So all across the board, Vitality find themselves in a very comfortable position. Even in a lane where you don't have that much mid prio, you talked about it earlier, Caedrel, a lot of fighting around that space has given them a lot of control, which has allowed them to actually contest these sides.
Definitely does, and I love what Vitality have done here. Just put your AD carry top, let Alphari run and catch bot wave because tempo. G2 are going to hit bot tower, but we have Herald. Let's put our AD carry here. They can play for 2 towers while G2 tries to get this bot tier 1. G2 are going to have to answer this top push eventually because Selfmade's just sitting in a bush waiting for a dive. I think they can just commit 3-man on whoever tries to defend this top tier 2. So, as we talked about early game, and Vitality maybe falling short the last time they had the early game lead, it looks like for now they're snowballing it all into Carzzy.
You can see that Carzzy, 5,700 gold, 1,400 more than anyone on his team, 1,300 more than anyone on the opposing team. Carzzy, the player that Vitality are looking to carry this mid-game for them. They've already got 1 Drake as well. Cloud up in 10 seconds' time. The question is, will they be back on the map in time to fight it, or will G2 try and rush it out from under their noses?
That's the big question, because items have come through. Gale Force already finished for Carzzy. You can see the Chem Tank also finished for Selfmade. So Vitality saying, we have item spikes, we know we're stronger, we should try and force a fight. Alphari has set up a bit of control around the bot side of the map. He can push this in just as his teammates arrive. You can notice as well, Perkz staying in the mid lane, looking to control that. Vitality definitely setting up to contest this Drake.
Yeah, I think they're stacking a bot wave as well in case they want to look for a bot tower. You can use Drake as an exit objective here because you have push mid and bot, so they can look for a play before they look for the Dragon if they want to. We'll see what happens on this bot wave because Selfmade's moving his way around. Because Dragon is so free, you have so much control that you can do a play first before going towards the Dragon. So that's why Vitality are a little bit slow here. They want to look for something while BrokenBlade's showing top. Perkz is going to go catch that top wave now. And that'll be that. They see all of G2 on the bot side. BrokenBlade's basing, the top wave's pushed in. Now they're going to move towards the Dragon. You have to expect with Alphari going towards mid, Perkz having TP.
His guns are a bit awkward though for Carzzy. Does of course have the gravity gun, but with the range not that valuable. Selfmade.
And Cap should just be able to get the charm up here. Still stunned up underneath the tower. You can see there's half of his health just from Selfmade. He does tank up a couple of tower shots himself. Perkz up towards that top side has the TP, but the rocket will not quite kill Selfmade.
Close.
Sounded like a Brit angry after his late night dinner. Where's the tea?
Oh my lord. Turns out it was a rocket. And Selfmade is just going to tank that one up. Yeah, you can see the damage he has. Just tanks up all of the tower shots and Caps' combo. We'll take the Raptors to heal up. I'm expecting them to go for this dragon. I feel like with rolling Cloud second, you're probably going to get a pretty good soul to benefit you regardless, whether it's a Mountain, Infernal, Hextech, whatever it may be. They should start these up early, but it seems they still want to keep playing for these plates for now.
Well, they're going down in 15 seconds, so if you can get one more out of it, then at least you can get some more gold onto Carzzy, maybe even 2 with the right guns. He just shreds it. 5 seconds, 2 plates. That's got to be some sort of land speed record there for Carzzy. 7,000 gold now on that Aphelios.
10 plates, I think. 9 plates, maybe Alphari took 1. Really, really accelerated. 1.2k gold ahead. And yeah, Vitality running away with this early game. And like we said, G2, Targamas being on a range support means they have a lot more scaling options, yes, but a lot less engage options.
Sorry, that's a very valid point, but all I could think of was, imagine if Aphelios was an Age of Empires. All those castles wouldn't stand a chance. It's just this man throwing out shurikens and he's just raising towers left, right, and center.
If you think about it, it kind of breaks down a little bit, but just don't think about it.
Just let it sink.
Yeah. just a bunch of ninjas throwing like stars at your tower.
You can just imagine all these longbowmen standing on top of the castle being like, well, what's this edgy guy gonna do? And then he's like, Vadum, like, ah!
So we had Thonk last game, now we have Vadum. Yeah. We'll see if Carzzy can Vadum the mid tower now, because that's the only one standing.
Right, yeah, sorry, we slowed down a little bit, so I went a bit goofy. 4K is the goal lead. Hextech gates have emerged on the Rift, and they are looking for BrokenBlade.
Has the flash, no tower to defend him, dodges away, flawless duet, gets 1 stun, Perkz chases in, Vanguard's edge used as well, Perkz dives onto the back, 2v3 execution, a 2v3 so far, Everpot's gonna get the root, Caps trying to turn this one around, Jankos there as well, but they just can't find the damage, and 1 kill goes over to Perkz and Selfmade.
I just love some clean Akali. Oh! No! Oh my, that is how you assert dominance. Labrov, if he had just done a T-pose after that, that would have just really added to
a flare and emote, something like that. Just throws Caps back the second he steps forward.
That was so cool. Very nice from Labrov, and Vitality definitely waking up in this game. In game 1, they had a gold lead, but it was only about 1k, 2k. This time round, they find themselves with 3 towers. 5k is the gold lead. Alphari, though, could be in danger.
Caught out, there's the charm as well. The stun follow-up, and Jankos will take the first kill of the game for G2. It's meager, but it's something for G2 right now.
Yeah, definitely a mistake there from Alphari. G2, we talked about it not having engaged. What can they capitalize on? Mistakes. That was one from Alphari there, overstepping a little bit, didn't have enough vision. Hit by the charm, he's dead. He can't even flash away, so Vitality need to clean this up, make sure they're early to mid-game transition is smooth enough to make sure they can control both side lanes, because the problem is now G2 have objective bounties, so Caps can push out this bot wave. They could commit numbers here to try and get this bot tower that's already low, and this gold will start to accrue the later the game goes on if these mistakes keep happening.
And this was something that we did see from Vitality. They had the gold lead in game 1, then a few mistakes happened, and G2, I think they've demonstrated in this series that their mid game is very good.
Flakked, so much damage. Flakked has to pop the Gale Force to get away, but Selfmade chases him. Cleanse Flash. My Flakked to escape. Selfmade now caught. Not in the easiest of situations. Tower falls in the bottom lane. Jankos may be caught out as Carzzy looks for the mid lane tower. Jankos caught by Labrov, trying to turn it around, but Alphari's here as well. The handshake brings him back, and Alphari over the wall. The hostile takeover. Heartbreaker, not enough. Labrov secures the kill.
Well punished there by Labrov, and he just rotates down. Jankos was covering for Caps as they pushed around that tower and secured the siege. He was not expecting Labrov to be there with Alphari committing to the play as well. But now Selfmade starting this off alone. The collapse comes in from BrokenBlade.
Targamas like, hey, have a taste of this. Selfmade trying to turn it around. Brings down the lightning TP immediately. Selfmade trying to get the damage down, but BrokenBlade might be able to kill him before he can pop it. The stopwatch comes out. Carzzy and Perkz now here alongside Alphari to turn it around. Selfmade gets the healing, and they'll take the Rift Herald to boot.
Yeah, killing a Rift Herald. 2 TPs invested and the heal from Carzzy. Labrov flashed forwards as well, so they wanted to make sure Selfmade didn't die there. His stopwatch, his ultimate was just ticking and just about came up, so that's why he ulted on top of himself just to make sure he was fine. And that's 4 towers to 1 for Vitality. They have the Herald. We'll see how they snowball the game through. And we expected Alphari to be the main kind of carry here for Vitality in the early to mid game, because topside is just such an explosive matchup. But it looks like bot lane was winning in isolation. Selfmade paid it a few visits, dropped the Herald after they swapped. They got a bot tower as well. And mid and jungle have just been performing so well. Perkz and Selfmade just on the same page.
And it's just, to me, it really is the Selfmade factor. When we saw in draft that he panned away the Hecarim, insta-logged Volibear, to me that was such a clear message where he said, okay, no, we're going to play some real League of Legends now. I'm going to get in their faces. I'm going to look for ganks. I'm going to be super proactive on the map. And throughout the regular season, I think our biggest criticism of Vitality was a lack of identity, struggling to figure out how it is that they want to play. And I feel like that now Vitality is much more in the mindset of let's just play towards what Selfmade wants to do. And when he has a jungler like this, they set up their waves accordingly to make sure that he can actually set up these plays. We see him working much better with Labrov, less so in this game, simply due to the nature of the champion. And now the responsibility falls on G2 to try and weather the storm, rely on some of their scaling. They do still have some strong side laners. They do still have Jinx Lulu as a late game insurance. There are still options, but things are rapidly falling further and further apart.
Definitely are, and G2 want to force something. Caps TP's in there just to make sure they can hold this vision. 20 seconds on the Dragon. That would put Vitality on soul point. And yes, they're behind, but they found a window where Vitality was in base and they can control the vision. So face checking is what they want to look for. They want to look for face checks for Vitality. Mid-wave going to be contested. Both mid-tier ones. No, sorry, only Vitality's mid-tier one still up.
I mean, they can just chase Flakked. He's by himself.
No
growth is an option. There's the route onto Selfmade, down to about 60% HP, but Flakked low as well. Caps now pushing forward. Vitality could just shove in mid-wave here, maybe even look for the towers.
I don't think they should call the bluff. I don't think they should go for mid. This is a Dragon Soul point that they could be on. The Herald's dropped, and they've decided to go towards Dragon. It's gone. Are they going to collapse on them? Perkz fancies a fight here.
He's going in by himself.
A one-man army.
Dives onto him. Perkz uses the Twilight Shroud. Flakked starts a recall. Shuriken goes wide. G2 on the wrong side of the map. Rift-Herald will take that tower. Not quite. One auto away from dead.
I think a little bit of indecisiveness there from Vitality. You either Herald mid, get the tier 3 even, because you have so much tempo, and move top and get another tower or something like that, or you Herald mid earlier and then move into Drake so you can contest before it dies. In the end, they'll pick this tower up, but they didn't really get the team fight or the Dragon. All they got was a tower when they had a Herald anyway.
Again, we're seeing some of those mid-game issues that we have identified for Vitality, and you rightly called it out, Caedrel, a bit of indecisiveness. Of course, this doesn't put Vitality behind, it just buys G2 a little bit more time.
Yep.
They, of course, did lose their tier 2 in the mid lane, and it will mean that their jungle is a little harder to contest. Vitality will steal away these camps and continue to extend the gold lead.
Speaking of buying time, look how many stopwatches G2 have on our top side. Selfmade also finishing a Zhonya's. We saw it in game 2. We're going to see a lot of stopwatches used in the next fight, and yeah, I mean, stalls time. It's so important. 8-9 minutes now for G2 before they have to face a soul point, even if they give up the next one. So we'll see how the map dissects itself. Flakked is kind of like the stable rock now. Yes, he's down in CS, but his Jinx, Lulu, is what we're going to have to look at if this goes towards a late game.
Selfmade with the Zhonyas as well, so if he does end up diving into a fight, he can just delay and distract and be a nuisance on the G2 backline, but still, a 5,000 gold lead for Vitality. The first time they've really been in control of a game this series, you feel. And they are shoving down this mid lane wave, but bounties still remain for G2, and Flakked will take this tower.
Yeah, just look at the macro here. G2 get another tier 1, an objective bounty, and G2 and Vitality are barreling down mid. There's no tier 2 for them to take, so they have to move into bot tier 2. And G2 could just give this up. They get an objective bounty anyway. They're trading, and now Perkz is basing, so maybe G2 can clear this. Carzzy's rotating across. Looks like they're going to force anyway. Perkz has TP, so won't be the end of the world. I think G2 are a bit afraid to step up for now.
I think they also sent Perkz back to top to catch that big wave so that it wasn't completely wasted. They should be able to secure this tier 2, gain a little bit more control over the map. But I don't think it's the end of the world here for Vitality. They still end up going net positive in terms of gold. And Perkz will be able to grab this wave, push it back out. And of course, there's no other neutrals for either team to really play for in the time being. They do see Cap slightly overextended in the mid lane. There goes Selfmade.
Everfrost with the slow Perkz.
Oh, the Hexgate!
The Hexgate with a long range flank. Spectral Maw gets the stun. Charles follows up. Caps locked in place. Carzzy there with Moonlight Vigil as well. And Caps it's pulse the stopwatch just in time. Selfmade does the same with his own Zhonyas. Jankos Caps with a stopwatch of his own. Caps gets out, but Jankos does not. A kill over to Vitality.
We'll see if they go towards the Baron. Jungler is dead. Selfmade can heal up with his W, of course. We'll see if they want to force it. They used a lot there. Perkz, I think he has the ultimate still up, so that helps. Renata ult as well.
And mechanically, Caps played that about as well as he could. He does get away with his life, but with no smite available on G2, this is likely a free Baron. Looks like Flakked, though. He's going to try and contest. Caps is on his way back. Irelia has the TP.
9,000, 8,000 HP on the Baron. TP in from BrokenBlade towards the top side. Perkz looking for Targamas. Exhaust goes down. Targamas flashes away, but the chase is on. Perkz with a perfect execution over the wall will get one. Labrov chases the handshake, pulls BrokenBlade back. Alphari looking for the shock blast. Perkz coming in from the side as well, will blast cone towards BrokenBlade, who has no tower and no teammates to defend him. Vanguard's edge, well, you're the edge of the spear, but the rest of the spear lies in pieces behind you. BrokenBlade down, G2 down, and they're looking for something in mid.
They got a mid-tier 1, objective bounty again. They're going to force a mid-tier 2, so G2 turning like a losing play on the Baron falls into a winning one perhaps with these objective bounties. 2 towers in their favor. Vitality can't reforce the Baron because they're too low. They're just going to have to catch waves. So overall, probably pretty even.
Yeah, I agree with you. You can see the commitment here from Selfmade trying to catch Caps out, and they know that with the Hex Gate, they can set up this flank. Admittedly, Carzzy kind of does a lot of the work before Perkz even arrives. A big ultimate into the root, then this dash into stopwatch just before he dies, and the trap placement stops Perkz from being able to get past. The flash into the ultimate then gets Caps to safety. The same can't be said for Jankos.
Yeah, and then it's a 5v4 from then onwards. Vitality now coming back out on the map. They're forcing the Baron. G2 forced to respond. BrokenBlade coming out of base. Caps has TP. I think he's finishing off blue buff. Yes, he is. Basing. See if he has time to do it.
Perkz has been at the forefront of everything Vitality this game, and he looked for a flank position into the Twilight Shroud. The Flame Chomper's going down. Heal Escape still has the flash, still has the ult. Targamas pops the wild, goes with himself. Jankos looking for it! Jankos gets it! Jankos gets the Baron and keeps G2's hopes of winning this game alive.
It does not matter how long you've been playing. It does not matter how much of a veteran you are. Jankos will always find a way, and he steals the Baron. So much gold goes into the back pocket of G2, and they stay alive in this game.
6 towers to 4. G2's mid-game macro has been basically flawless on losing plays constantly. This steal stalls the game out so much more. I think Vitality should be able to force this Dragon and pick it up, put them on soul point. Perkz TPing in, looking for Flakked, but the Chompers come down. TP won't result in anything, and Vitality keep forcing things, and G2 have responses.
Vitality right now is just trying to leverage the numbers advantage, but Viego is back out on the map. Let's have a look back at the steal.
So, Perkz trying to zone them away. Caps TPing in. G2 have no chance at getting into this pit, but only Jankos can. Flashes over the wall to ult to smite to make sure he can secure it. Ends up getting the Baron, but he doesn't have an escape. But he trades his life for it. He keeps his team alive.
Whew. G2's mid-game really has been impressive. Like, you highlighted it so well, Caedrel. So many of the decisions that G2 have made when it comes to trading player members in exchange for towers. You know, they've got the bounty on bot lane, the bounty in top lane, they've got 2 towers mid lane, which are also both bounties. They then got the bounty on the Baron as well, and what was a massive gold lead is now shrunk to still sizable, but much more manageable.
And I will say from my experience, when you're so far behind in a game like this and you steal something like a Baron, the excitement and elation in the team is insane for 5 seconds, and everyone's on it instantly. Everyone's brains instantly turned on. Doesn't matter what game state you're in, you already think it's winnable. And I think G2, kind of the brain juice are flowing now. They probably can find a way into this Dragon pit, but still, they're not out of the weeds yet. They need to make sure they can stop this kind of Dragon Soul point coming through, because Hextech Soul would be so hard to fight against.
All they've done is stem the bleeding. They've stabilized, but can they find a way to bring life back into this game for themselves? Vitality, on the other hand, of course, when you lose something like that, it can make a big effect on how your team sets up the next time. Do you go for another semi 50-50 play? Do you say, well, we can take the 60-40, or do you look for only the guaranteed plays from now on? It's not something Vitality have done throughout the regular season. The question is here, will they continue their aggressive tactics we've seen work so well for them this game?
Yeah, G2, we can see it. Nothing happens ever since they get the Baron. It's just silence on the Rift. Slowing the game down. Items coming in. Caps 2.5. Flakked building towards his Infinity Edge, getting a 3rd item. BrokenBlade building towards something like a GA perhaps, or something to survive these fights. It's going to become very dangerous for Vitality late this game goes on. We talk about scaling. I mean, Irelia, Jinx, Lulu, that's pretty tough, especially when, even though Jankos is behind, the fact that his champion can take resets is all he needs. He needs to play a little bit more reserved. Vitality, the way they kind of want to play this game out is just push in all lanes, keep G2 in their base, because there's no towers whatsoever. They only have inhibitor towers. Just push them in, get vision in their jungle, poke them out on face checks with Jayce, and try to force this Dragon fight.
What I will say, Perkz was in a very awkward spot for a very long time, as he kind of had this Build-A-Bear build with, like...
Hexagoldinator, Oblivion, or
yeah, he was sitting in this very awkward spot. Now, though, he's going to spike hard. Just short of level 16, but these items are the core on Akali, and this is where you really get your scariest on this champion. The fact that Perkz has that level lead over Caps as well, he's the player I'm going to be keeping my eyes on as the fights progress. Of course, Carzzy, very dangerous in his own right, and Vitality still in a commanding position itemization-wise, and this is why G2 is still showcasing that respect, not overstepping their bounds, not trying to go for that jungle camp to get that extra bit of gold. They're willing to make that small sacrifice for the longer play. Vitality yet to hit the base towers, and here comes a good charm.
Vitality have 6 stopwatches on their team. 5, in fact, because 6 would be one more than players there are on their team.
Unless they have double stopwatch.
Unless they have a double stopwatch. They have 5 stopwatches on their team. Azonia's stopwatch on Alphari, Perkz, Carzzy, Labrov. On the other side, only 1 for BrokenBlade. If Flakked is caught, yes, he's at 3 items, but he will be burst down. Targamas, the one with the duty to protect that AD carry, to protect that front line with the Wild Growth. But we've seen Perkz so many times in these last few fights focus down the support. It works so well when the support is someone as squishy as a Lulu.
So, 1 minute on the Dragon. If Vitality can secure it and get the win, there's a lot to talk about for them after this game. This could be a very long series, but the first step is this game. Perkz setting up for some kind of flank position on the next mid-wave. Mid-wave contest so important because it allows you to get the first track into river. Caps trying to build towards the Zhonya's, doesn't have it just yet, but it won't matter because unless he can get it and TP in, he won't be able to get it in time. But Flakked has his 3 items. He has Targamas behind him, and like we talked about, Vitality need to push these waves in and kind of flush G2 out of their own jungle.
Perkz has the TP. He's catching that top lane wave. We'll see. Caps stepping forward. Labrov flashes away. Carzzy going in as well. Caps almost burst. Selfmade coming out. Selfmade's in the right position at the right time to find Caps. Oh! The face plant flash from Caps may spell the demise of G2, at least in this game. Selfmade on the chase. G2 on the retreat.
Oh, the game is blown wide open there. Caps thought he found a window, but it's Vitality who strike back. Perkz is hunting down G2.
Selfmade still chasing in, Jankos with the stun. Selfmade still has the storm, bring it. Jankos half-bakers away, but Perkz will chase him down. Resurrection with the GA, Perkz in the backline. Hostile takeover, only goes over 2. And now the chase is on. Get excited, G2. Get excited, Flakked, because Vitality, they delved too greedily. They delved too deep, and because of that, they were slapped down.
Perkz was hunting them down, but it's the Predator that becomes the prey. G2 strike back again. Dragon just spawned now, and it's only Carzzy and Labrov alive. They're gonna have to give this up. More time for G2.
The Baron is up in 10 seconds and Selfmade will be dead for its resurrection, whereas Jankos will be alive. Vitality have made another massive throw, overcommitting for those kills, and this could very well be exactly what G2 wanted.
Perkz, no TP. Alphari has it. Carzzy and Labrov are looking for a pick onto Caps. He has no flash. Maybe they can pick him off and then turn back towards it, but he's going to spot them out. I think he has the ultimate.
Sees them, Shredder's popped, and now Caps can just spirit rush away. He knows Carzzy and Labrov are here. Baron started by G2 after keeping the game so close to the majority of it, after being 10 kills to 1 down now. A Baron steal into another possible Baron straight afterwards will be enough for G2 to once again garner a lead as Labrov is caught out, pops the stopwatch. Carzzy on the wrong side of the rift, and here be demons. Carzzy chased out. Jankos trying to look for the damage, but Carzzy is chasing Targamas and Jankos away from the fight. Perkz has joined it. Alphari, Carzzy, and Selfmade here to try and back up their teammates. Targamas will be sacrificed, but the rest of G2 will escape to fight another day.
Wow. So crucial. So crucial that G2 are holding on.
And when we get to the second half of this fight, I have to draw attention to Perkz because he made such a massive blunder. Caps here tries to go for a pick onto Labrov. Labrov plays that beautifully. Wow, didn't see the damage from Carzzy at the back end of that fight because I was too focused on Caps using his life. But look at Perkz. He committed his flash in the river. He missed his E, so he doesn't have either of those available. Then he follows up on this play from Selfmade. Yes, he lands the ult onto E, but look at this exhaust that comes through. He then tries to execute Targamas with the exhaust still on him, doesn't have the damage to find the kill, and now he's in no man's land with Selfmade, where he ends up dying. That overcommitment from the 2 members, the mid-jungle, who have played so well this game for Vitality, ends up giving over the Dragon, the Baron, and potentially the game.
Yeah, Alphari was trying to get involved, but he was too far behind. Carzzy went to mid-wave, just saying, guys, I can't join this fight. And Perkz and Selfmade, just blood in their eyes, just kept going forwards. Ends up biting back. Now G2 establishing map control. Gold is practically even at this point. They've delayed the soul, and now Flakked 4 items strong. Caps, he was a little bit behind, but he has 3 items as well, and BrokenBlade also behind, but he's up a level. 3 items on a stopwatch.
And moment by moment, second by second, the chance of redemption for Perkz perhaps slipping out of his grasp. He finds Jankos. Selfmade able to back away. Alphari coming down towards his bottom side as well. The charm just wide, but Labrov is deleted. Perkz in the Twilight Shroud could do nothing to help his support. G2 now 5 players strong, pushing down the bottom lane.
No flash available on Labrov means that there's no escape for him from all that mobility on the side of G2. They're stacking up bot lane. They don't care about mid, they don't care about top. All they care about is leveraging their numbers advantage, the power that they have to try and break into the base. But the ulti from Carzzy is massive.
And so is the shock blast. Caps forced away. The tower will fall fifth of the game for G2. Only 1,000 gold their lead, and with 2 minutes on the next dragon, you have to think they're going to reset and try and play to deny this soul.
Oh, this game's not over yet. It's only just evened up. Vitality, Carzzy still so strong on this Aphelios. You have to respect it. Very close to level 16. Labrov by his side. Feel like G2 getting picks in these fights is what's helping them out in the sieges. Of course, Labrov following made it so they had a numbers advantage, but the poke is still very strong. And once this Baron buff falls off, Vitality will start to claw their way back in to this mid lane to try to get some kind of vision around this dragon.
For the first time this game, G2 have the gold lead, and a 1,001 at that. This is an incredible comeback from them, and yes, there's criticism that you can throw towards Vitality, but the mid-game decisions from G2 have contributed so much to their comeback. And like obviously a couple of clutch plays, Jankos with his steals, but so much credit needs to be given for G2 and their resilience in being able to turn this one around, especially when we think back to the regular season. It was their mid games and their ability to often fail to close out games that would often hurt them. So to see that growth within G2 is definitely a nice thing to see.
And now for the next few moments, the eyes go over to Vitality. The eyes go onto Perkz, of course, but also onto Carzzy, a player defending his LEC title. It's often overlooked that he was part of that Mad Lions team that went back-to-back last year, him and Humanoid leading the charge. And his season has been disappointing, but last week against XL, we saw some slivers of brilliance, and here he is in prime position to carry one of these team fights.
Yeah, Vitality didn't sign a roster with 10 titles to finish 5th. 30 seconds on the Dragon. If they can win this fight and claw their way back in, they have hope and they have a chance in this series. But G2 have been playing so fantastically well from behind that they're not going to let him. Perkz was the one who said he's going to stop G2 in his tracks, but it looks like G2 might be the ones to stop Perkz in his tracks. Vitality contesting this mid-wave, 20 seconds on the objective. Baron won't be up, of course, it's still a minute 50 seconds away, so it's all to play for on this Dragon. Vitality can't afford to just give it. Give them a third Dragon. Play for tempo on the map, play for waves, play for inhibitors, and let Perkz TP in. But looking at their positioning, Vitality is giving this one up.
They're playing for the top tower. The pings are coming through. Look,
Selfmade's looking for
they
steal,
are just rushing. It's a very risky steal. They don't have information on where G2 is backing right now.
Oh, now they know Selfmade's there. Caps lands the charm over the wall. He's going to have to try and storming her away. Caps still chasing him out. Tower falls in the top lane. That's the inhibitor tower down, and now the inhibitor will be shortly to follow. Vitality, they didn't get the steal, but they do get the inhibitor. And now they are able to get away with those Hextech gates.
So Vitality not having vision, they say to themselves, we can't walk in, but it doesn't give G2 a soul. We have time. And now we're the one who want to play for time. We're going to take a top inhibitor so that when Baron spawns in 1 minute, they have push in all lanes. Alphari going to poke away Jankos.
He reads that well. That was that gut that you were talking about, that instinct. That jungle is awfully dark, and it looks mighty scary. Jankos doesn't fall for the trap, takes a bit of damage. Oh!
Some of the floors duet. BrokenBlade looking to make a name for himself once again on this Irelia. Hasn't had the best of games, but catches that Perkz, takes him down to half HP.
He has a 200 gold bounty, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's 334 CS, he's level 18. This guy, 2 levels over Alphari after being 0 and 4 for the first 25 minutes of the game.
So, looks like G2 want to play through top. Gonna get the top push, cover Caps, make sure he can't get caught. BrokenBlade very close to a Guardian Angel of his own. 2 Guardian Angels on G2, stopwatches a piece as well, so a lot of time they can buy as well. Perkz gonna catch his bot wave, item spikes coming in for both sides. Baron up in 15. This top inhibitor is what's gonna hurt G2 now. They need to make sure that they can push out these top waves. You see Caps is pinging it, and G2, because it's so late into the game, they have to cover Caps with absolutely everyone to make sure he can push it in so they can contest vision around this Baron. They could just rush it up right now. No vision for Vitality whatsoever.
The basin from Perkz. They want information. He's not going to commit the TP until he sees that the Baron has been started. Notices it hasn't. Decides not to commit. Could very well make his way back towards the bot lane. Push out that wave again. Wow. But there's so much on the line. I was expecting to go to game 4. I thought the Vitality with the lead that they had would be able to close this one out and bring us to another game. But Vitality, they're on the cusp of getting knocked out of playoffs. The super team that expectations were sky high on. Perhaps it will just be another super team to fall to the wayside, as many before them have. Or as G2, with their young players, continue to rise. Here comes the engage from Selfmade.
Running in, for Sjokz coming out, and there's the TP as well. Vitality investing everything into this, but there's a stopwatch on BrokenBlade, and now Perkz not in the right position for this. Redemption will come out and heal him back up. Everyone escapes. BrokenBlade did burn the flash. Summoner's burnt on the side of Vitality, only that teleport and the ignite from Labrov.
Top wave pushing in. BrokenBlade's gonna go catch it. He used his ultimate and his flash, of course. Perkz only using the TP.
Targamas on vision.
Targamas is on vision. I think they sweep it out now. No vision in G2 jungle now for Vitality, but they want to get some. They want to
That's
see
good
where they
poke.
are, so that can happen. The Shock Blast can land. Alphari can see
And
his
they're starting
target. Targamas is forced to base. Maybe he has to stay here if Vitality are rushing up and just play very, very far back and look for ults, but he is going to do so. He has no wards either, so what pinks do they have in inventory? They have no vision whatsoever. G2 can't put any wards down. Can they get in?
They got the blue trinket in. They have an idea that it started.
Looking for it. He
Can he
saw
do it
them
again?
once. Hostile takeover one. Jankos looking for it, but can't get in time. Heartbreaker a little bit too late. And Vitality able to get the Baron.
He didn't have vision. I think he didn't see it. That was just a blind guess as to when he should jump in, and it was dead the second he lands. So Vitality have the Baron. Everyone gets out alive. 1 minute 40 seconds on the Dragon again. Soul points for either side, and now Vitality the ones who are going to push these waves in.
They still have, you can see, a minute and a half on the top lane inhibitor. Those waves are going to keep pushing in. They can play through bot and they can play through mid. The TP comes through from Alphari. They have the Baron empowered minions and they continue to siege. Carzzy has to be careful about approaching that tower as Caps is very deadly when looking for these picks. The siege is not the strongest from Vitality when they do have that melee mid laner, but they just have to be patient. The waves coming in on bot. Look at this Alphari letting the minions do the work so the bot and mid can crash into the towers at the same time.
Yeah, they're going for a 1-4 here. Vitality playing on bot waves. Perkz will just be a thorn in their side if G2 tries to overcommit on the defense, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's hitting onto the tower. G2 have an option of just full engaging bot or just defending their towers. Looks like Perkz will get it, but maybe he's caught.
Jankos looking for him. Heartbreaker going in. Perkz down to half HP. The inhibitor tower survives in the mid lane. Redemption now onto Perkz, going to heal him back up. Stun onto Selfmade. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Carzzy continues to harass that tower to chip away at it. BrokenBlade looking for the chase. Flawless duet just short. Vitality forced away for the moment. Still a minute and a half on their Baron, but Vitality are low. Alphari is low. Flakked trying to get excited. Has that Lulu to back him up. The zap just short. 40 seconds on the Dragon, 40 seconds on the Soul for either of these teams.
Notice Perkz stayed mid to Baron empower the minions so they could help secure that tower. That drops. The top lane continues to push in, but Vitality correctly go back to base knowing that the Dragon is spawning in 40. Now 30 seconds. They're already making their way back out onto the map, and this is G2's final stand. Can they secure the Dragon? Can they find one more good fight?
This is it. This fight will determine the game. The comms right now are buy anything. Buy absolutely anything you can. Potions, elixirs, stopwatches, set up, get wards, get vision. Look to contest mid waves, and that's exactly what both these teams are doing. Caps TPing in now. Perkz onto the side.
Perkz looking for Jankos. They know where he is now. Shuriken down. Vision for Vitality. G2 will be stepping into darkness here. They do not know that Selfmade's there. Control ward now going down as the Dragon is started up. They're going to start it on it. Jankos looking for the steal. Caps! Oh, no! Fucking way! Does Caps steal that from over the wall? He gets the Hextech Soul for G2. And once again, it's a steal from a G2 member that keeps them alive in this game.
And of course it had to be Caps that steals it. First it's Jankos, and then it's the mid lane man Caps. The two superstars, the veterans of this G2 roster, secure the Soul, and perhaps that's what they need to keep them and can win them this game. Here comes BrokenBlade looking for the stun, isn't able to find it.
Flawless duet just a little bit short. Baron remains for 20 seconds. Perkz in the mid lane, trying to just be a thorn in the side of G2, as he was so often a help for them in years gone past. Flash away by Labrov. He dodged away from the flawless duet. Now the Baron expires in 10 seconds time, and you know what you don't want to face into? A Jinx with a Hextech Soul, but the damage from Carzzy. Flakked now back to the base, and Vitality advance.
That's the window that Vitality was looking for. They're now going to siege onto this bot inhibitor. There's a wave stacked in top. Perkz is pressuring in mid. Engage from Selfmade.
Selfmade looking for the stun. Carzzy's going to be able to take this inhibitor down. Flakked getting excited now as he comes back out of the base. BrokenBlade's looking for this, but he can't find it. Perkz continues to play in that mid lane, to be a nuisance, to be a bother as Caps looks for the Everfrost, lands it. The Redemption coming out. Perkz dodges to the side. Stopwatch from Caps. Perkz flashes away and survives. Flakked though on the chase, looking for the Hextech slow. Perfect execution will get Perkz to safety.
Looks like that's all the pressure that Vitality have. G2 managed to hold on. They lose the bot inhibitor. Yeah, Vitality didn't have a mid-wave either. It was stuck on their own tier 2 because Perkz didn't get the push on it. So that'll be that. But G2 come away with the Soul. 2 minutes on Baron. Elder in 4 minutes. Whew.
I don't know if we're going to get a replay, but I hope we can get a replay of that Cap steal. I don't know how he did it. Like, was Selfmade smite on cooldown? I don't know.
He had a lot of burst though.
I mean, yeah, but that's crazy. The fact that of all people, it's Caps that gets that steal as well. Oh, we are going to get a replay. Let's have a look.
So
Here
Vitality want to take the 50-50.
So he does
Selfmade's
have the
confidence.
smite. It's just QW. It's just his burst combo. It's just enough to be able to get the kill.
Selfmade doesn't even smite, and
He
G2's
doesn't.
instant call is disengage. They all run away, run back to the base. Vitality still have Baron. We have to hold the siege still, and they managed to do so. Vitality now pushing out topside. Full control of the topside jungle of G2. G2 probably more favored in straight up 5v5s from the back, but if Vitality can find a pick, that could just be game over.
Full builds everywhere.
20 seconds on the Baron. 3.5 minutes on the Elder. The inhibitor respawning on the timer of that Elder. Hextech Soul on G2. Vitality. A look of concentration on their faces as they know it's do or die. It's all or nothing right now. Lose and you are out. A single mistake, a pixel out of place could cost you your playoffs hopes. Your dreams of hoisting that trophy aloft once again could cost you your redemption. If you're someone like Perkz, fighting back from being in NA last year.
Observers, can you very quickly show us the gold? I want to see how far away Perkz is from that. Oh, he's a way off. He needs at least another 900 gold before he gets that death cap, and that is quite a way away. With the Baron spawning in 30 seconds, I doubt he's going to be able to get it. But everyone else, pretty much full build. Alphari still a ways off from his next item as well. But that's a big slow Flakked really is unlocked right now.
It's just impossible to play against. You have the cooldown reduction of 4 Hextech Drakes, and you have the Hextech Soul, and you've got Lulu, and you've got a rapid fire cannon. It is so impossible to ever approach Flakked. You have to find a way to flank. You have to find a way to burst him down.
Yeah, poke as well could work. Alphari just finished the Irelia, so he's pretty powerful right now if a Shock Blast lands. Perkz keeps looking for these angles, keeps looking for flanks. BrokenBlade has TP. Caps is flanking too. Perkz and Caps on either side. G2.
Alphari
trying to step up mid and get the next push in. Baron is up. They're going to melt this Baron if they get a split second to start it up. Vitality have to be very careful. Carzzy walking forward. TP coming in.
BrokenBlade might be isolated unless G2 can advance. They will. They push out the mid lane wave, answered now by Vitality. G2 make a beeline for the Baron. The charm lands on the Selfmade. Good stopwatch. Stormbringer available and flash as well for him, who used the Stormbringer to escape.
Look at Perkz
pushing in the mid lane. There's 2 inhibitors available to him. No minion waves there though, so the Nexus towers will still stand as a stronghold for G2. But now Perkz is not with the team, and because of that, G2 pounce! G2 see Perkz alone, and they leave him alone as he watches his team die in the mid lane.
Massive play once again from G2, and what a phenomenal charm from Caps, landing it onto Carzzy, the biggest damage dealer, and now the hunt is on.
One man standing all on his lonesome in the topside jungle. Perkz falls. G2 find the kills, they find the Baron. They do still have 2 broken inhibitors and a minute on the Elder Soul, but this game has swung in favor of G2.
Elder spawning in 50 seconds. They have a Baron buff, they have the Soul. They might just push it down top here. BrokenBlade doesn't have TP. He needs to regroup with the team soon, but he wants to push out bot to make sure Vitality can't end through bot with double TPs. G2 now sieging onto this top tier 2. Are they going to full commit here? There's still 35 seconds on Perkz. Maybe they have a window to just close it out now.
The inhibitor tower, their target for the moment. 20 seconds, 25 seconds on Perkz. He's got the TP, but the minion waves are pushing in. And G2 are unrelenting. BrokenBlade, no TP, remember, on him. But there's only 4 members of Vitality here to defend. First Nexus tower, the target. Flakked gets away with the Mikals, and Selfmade is just deleted. G2 pushing in the base. Carzzy flashes in, but immediately is met by the stun. Renata can't bail you out of this 3-0 stun, as Carzzy will fall. The redemption, there's none of it for Vitality. There's none of it for Perkz. There's no hope for Carzzy to defend his title as G2 keep them locked in the fountain. The minions will do the work for them. G2 dread it, run from it, but once again they reign supreme. They will destroy Vitality and meet up with Misfits on Sunday.
Perkz alive to see his kingdom fall, and G2 come back from the jaws of defeat. So far behind. Mental fortitude, mid-game macro. They had it all to find their way back into it.
There's still a long road to go for G2, but you can see so much of the hard work paying off for them. The investment in rookies, you heard it from Carlos. They went for a different direction. It wasn't about getting the biggest brands in the game. It wasn't about getting the well-known talent. It was about investing in the new players. And then, of course, it is still their core. It is Jankos and Caps in this game who end up coming up clutch with the rest of them following right behind and doing what they need to do to get the win.
But I will say this wasn't a series about Caps. Jankos had a magnificent steal, but it wasn't really a series about Jankos. This was a series about BrokenBlade and Flakked. The side lanes of G2 stepping up so much. BrokenBlade still being useful despite being so far behind, finding his way back in with CS advantages. Flakked being just so consistent, drafting the Jinx non-stop for him with a Lulu by his side. I feel like the side lanes of G2 are quite stable in this series.
And I mean, so much of the credit as well, that mid-game plays, that is a whole team effort, right?
Oh, yeah.
You don't make those decisions alone, and the way in which they moved around the map and they punished Vitality was beautiful to see. But this super team, they end the season disappointed. Of course, there's still a long year. We know that they'll likely come back in summer revitalized, ready to try and fix a lot of the issues, but this is not where they expected to be. And for a player like Perkz, finishing 5th is not the place that he expected himself to end.
Lowest he's ever finished, combined with 2018 G2 as well, I think 5th or 6th. Your key player of the game series, though, at LEC on Twitter, BrokenBlade, Jankos, and Flakked are your options. And yeah, I think all 3 of them had standout performances. Jankos, obviously, for the steals. His jungling was great, but BrokenBlade, that Jax performance, he was outlaning Alphari in most of the laning matchups. Flakked, even though sometimes the 2v2 didn't go that well, his ability to fight and team fight was just sublime.
I mean, yeah, he was their late game insurance. They could fall back on Flakked. Even though they were behind, they knew they had a scaling Jinx. He was reliable, and BrokenBlade was just so explosive.
Really impressive performance from G2. As you mentioned, Medic, they will be going up against Misfits on Sunday, so their weekend does not stop here. Fortunately for them, they had a quick one for all intent and purposes. Now they can start prepping for Misfits, and it's a long road for them, but it's definitely looking good to start off the week.
Could be all the way through the losers bracket for them. G2 Esports clean sweep Vitality and move on to face Misfits on Sunday. For more on this incredible win, let's send it over to Quickshot on the stage with Jankos and Caps.
There is not enough time. There are not enough words. How on earth did you guys pull that game back? Jankos, I'm going to come to you first.
I don't actually know. I mean, I think that, to be perfectly honest with you, this kind of game is always on the enemy team to mess it up and not on us to actually win it. And it's same as it brings me back to the Misfits game we had, like in regular season, where we maybe felt a little bit too cocky, and that's how we lost the game. I don't think Vitality felt cocky. I just think that they played like kind of poor macro, to be honest. And I also think that Nash Flip didn't help them, right? And then Cap stealing the soul. So many things went right for us. I don't want to be in the situation again.
I see the smile through the mask. Caps, how does it feel to be one of the 2 players that stole something from Vitality, one of the 2 players that stole something from Perkz, and the 2 former teammates of Perkz to eliminate him from playoffs?
I mean, for sure, it's always hype to steal the Dragon, especially the Nash was like with the shutdown as well, I think, even. So it felt like extra good. And I think instantly you just hear the shutdown gold falling away when we get Nash. So we're like, all right, guys, we're actually making it. But yeah, it's like winning against Perkz is really hype. Playing against the mid lane is always nice. This used to be a final matchup. Now we're facing a bit before the final, right? But it's still always hype, and especially now that we play so long on a team together. I
hope that everybody at home can feel Caps' energy. What do you think about in the spring season? You mentioned that Caps and Perkz used to be a final. Now you're in the lower bracket. Obviously a rebuild from last year as well. How does it feel to be in this position and contemplating a lot of fans at home feeling Caps and Perkz maybe, up until today, didn't play their best?
I mean, for sure, it doesn't feel great. I mean, to be fair, we've been in the lower bracket a lot of times, and we've bounced back. So it's like we've done it before, and we believe in ourselves. But it's not the level of dominance that we want to show, right? And again, facing Perkz in like quarters, I think it is kind of sad. And I just really want to like show up next weeks, beat all these rookie mid laners, all these new mid laners, both for me, but also for Perkz, because, you know, we're still here.
For your boy. I mean, still one of the most successful, the most winning player. Jankos, I love the line there from Caps, talking a little bit about, you know, always showing up, looking in the bottom, you know, lower run. Today, 3-0, very dramatic games, very exciting, entertaining games. Did it go the way you expected it to?
I mean, definitely not game 3. I think game 1 and game 2 went quite how we wanted it to go. Especially game 2, I think, was quite clean, actually. Thanks to BB, maybe. So shout out to him, I guess. But I think game 3 especially was super sweaty. So it's not quite the showing we want to show yet, because I feel like if we bring this kind of gameplay again into series with Fnatic or Rogue, we might just struggle. Fortunately, we don't face them this week. We face them next week. And on Sunday, we face Misfits, which are fine, you know, they're fine. Like, I think they're okay. I think they could have maybe improved a lot. Maybe they pull out some miracle comebacks. Maybe they actually don't fall behind as much, but definitely looking forward to the game on Sunday.
Before we get to that Misfits game, I want to carry on talking just a little bit about today and a little bit about Vitality quickly. The super team, frankly, they kind of sucked versus expectations. A lot of people thinking, Fnatic, Vitality in the finals. G2 weren't really in that discussion. So what do you make of the Vitality experiment, Caps?
So I think it's always hard to predict like everything. There's always teams that perform better or worse, and unless you're like in their shoes, I think it's hard to exactly say why. Maybe they have a different read on how they want to play the game, or maybe they just haven't figured out exactly the best way to draft for them and stuff like this. So they for sure underperformed, I would say, and I'm sure they'll do better in summer. I think, again, as I mentioned before, a final against Perkz would always be the most fun. So I'm hoping that we can get that next split.
I mean, definitely the case. We'll have to see if they do bounce back. Okay, let's talk about Misfits. Jankos, you're playing them on Sunday. Not only is it for a spot in the finals weekend, to go to the semi-final match and then the finals, but also we're going to have fans here. So there's an extra reward that if you beat Misfits on Sunday, the next weekend you get to play in front of a crowd again. What is that going to mean to you? Because I can see the smile already.
Actually, that's a banger. Actually, I didn't play in front of audience since I think 2019 when the Corona struck, and then we never really made it. I mean, okay, in China we made it to China 2020, but there was no audience, and then afterwards we just didn't make it anywhere, and also there was no audience anyway. So definitely excited. I think we have to win against Misfits, and I think being in front of the crowd definitely will hype us up and bring even better performances from G2 Esports.
I mean, definitely the case. I know what it feels like being in front of the crowd, feeling the energy. Caps taking on Viego, the next EU mid coming for your title, for your crown. How are you going to stop him?
I mean, it's the same what I mentioned, right? Like, I want me and Perkz to be back on top, and to show an honor to him, I will make sure that make quick way of Viego and make it into the final week. Especially, I don't know, will there be fans on Sunday or next week?
Not this Sunday, it'll be next week. It'll be next week.
But both days.
But both days. That's the plan. That's the plan. I think so. Maybe my producer will yell at me.
I don't think did we ever actually lose in like a BO5 in the EU with crowd?
I don't think we did. Not together, at least.
I love this, by the way. The players are interviewing themselves. Okay, I just have two quick questions. Two quick questions before we go. First and foremost, Caps and Jankos, I'd like you both to answer this. Being flanked by new players, rookie players, and seeing how they performed, what do you make of your new teammates coming in this spring?
I mean, it's like BB smurfed really hard, game 2 especially, but I think he was doing really well all the games. But I also think a huge shout out goes to Flakked especially, I think this series, because there was a lot of really late game situations, and he was very clutch, I feel like, and he was always staying alive in the team fights. And this is his first playoffs, his first split, and he's not dying, he's not getting caught, he's doing the damage, he's doing everything that we kind of wanted to have him. And sure, it might be what we want from him, but it's always harder on stage, and especially for a new guy, so I respect that a lot.
Same. I mean, I also want to add that.
You could have just stopped there, same and dropped the mic.
So I think he said good things about Flakked. I also think Targamas brings a lot of smart decisions to the team, and I feel like his voice, even though he doesn't talk too often, I feel like he actually, when he talks, it all makes sense, and I feel like he actually brought a lot of good ideas to the team. And I think thanks to him, we also improved our macro and improved our gameplay. So I feel like I'm very, very happy with this roster, and I feel like
he's the mastermind.
He's the mastermind. I feel like everyone is, giving their all, not being stressed out on stage, taking it very easy, but try-harding a lot. And yeah, I mean, we are trying,
Well, listen, your boy BrokenBlade will be on PGL. Before we go to the ad break, before we get set up for that, do you guys have a message for your fans, for your viewers? Maybe, do you want to tell them where you're going to end this spring? How far does this G2 story go? Jankos, since you're the expert at interviews, as you told me beforehand, you can send a message to the fans first.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we had... Oh.
This camera over here, this one, Sigo.
The fans over there.
Okay, the fans are over there. Hey, fans. So I think that we had quite a difficult BO5 against Fnatic, and of course we are the worst team, clearly. But I think these 2 weeks, or this last week, taught us a lot, and I feel like we are becoming a better team. And I think we are going to win, so excited.
Yeah, I'm just super happy for the experiment we've gone so far for the split. And while we are in lower bracket and not exactly where we want to be yet, I have a lot of faith in us. And I'm sure we will beat Misfits, and we need all of you guys to cheer us on for the final week. And then we'll take it home.
Well, unfortunately, gentlemen, as you know, against Misfits, I'm not going to be able to cheer for you, but I'm looking forward to a good series. Guys, no, congratulations. Excellent performance today. Once again, well done. We're going to hit an ad break. When we come back, Sjokz is joined by BrokenBlade. Don't go anywhere. Guys, that was awesome. That was awesome. Well done.